Still trying to throw the ball. On first and goal, second and goal. Panicking at third. Fourth, I'm wishing for a muff.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle podcast. It's your boy and host, Coach D Lane. And today's episode is brought to you by Come Wet Season, authentic fly apparel. You can find them on Instagram at Come Wet Season or online at COMEWETSEASON.com. Come Wet Season, spelled the same way on both platforms. Check them out. Got nice fly gear for the fellas and the ladies, okay? Check my folks out. Welcome to the 510 Huddle podcast. It's your boy, Coach Lane. I'm in the building with my guy, Coach Zay. And today we got a special guest in the building, former teacher of mine, a mentor, somebody I look up to, Coach Lou Richie, the head basketball coach at Bishop O'Dell. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. Maury, thanks for having me on. Y'all appreciate it.
Most definitely. How you doing today, Zay? How you feeling?
Doing great. Just happy to have an Oakland legend on, doing great things at O'Dell. Let's get it going.
Well, man, what we got? You got a whole lot of hardware over there, Coach. You got 4 NCS titles, 6 league titles. I know you got a NorCal chip over there too, don't you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got a couple things over here.
Okay.
But more importantly, I got you. I got a young man in my class. Those accolades and all that is nice. But when you see people that you've had a positive impact that walk up to you when you're 30 and you know it's nothing but love, that's why you do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's start from the beginning, Coach. Let's start from the beginning of your basketball journey because that's what we're here for today. Who was the first person? I like to ask you are a third basketball guy, so I like to ask our guest this: who was the first person to bust your ass, Coach? Like, who was the first person to give it to you on the hoop court?
A lot of people. See, I wasn't good in basketball growing up. I was a baseball player. But I'll tell you, the first person that busted my ass and told me he was going to do it was a guy named Andre Collier. So I used to live across the street from Sequoia School. Okay. And Andre, we called him Big Head Dre. He was same grade as me. He moved into our neighborhood around 7th, 8th grade, and he went to Carter in the north. And he was nice. And, he was light-skinned with a big head, and he had this goatee in the 7th grade, and I had plum fuzz on my face. We walked like this, and we were pooping one day. He was like, nigga, you hella weak. I said, what are you talking about? He was like, man, I'll beat you 21-0. I was like, man, you tripping. He was like, put 5 on it. So now I'm thinking I'm going to have to sneak into my mom's piggy bank to get that $5 right because I ain't got no job.
Yeah.
He can't beat me 21-0. Man, he beat me 21-0.
Ooh.
Andre Collier. And, he was the man. He was one of the best guards in the
What high school he went to?
St. Mary's High School.
Okay.
And we both
you was at O'Dell, right, Coach?
At O'Dell.
Yeah.
And he actually told me, he said, Lou, man, you shouldn't even play basketball at O'Dell. You should just play baseball because these 2 youngsters are coming there next year, and they way better than you. So our freshman year, we both played freshman. I was, I started, but I was a role player. He probably averaged 15, 20 points a game. Sophomore year, he's starting on varsity. I'm starting on JV. And he's averaging 15 points a game, killing. So I ended up catching up to him. He went to Oregon. I went to Clemson. But now Big Head Dre was nice. He was nice.
Okay. Go ahead, Zay.
Yeah. And when you went to, I know right out of high school, you ended up going to UCLA first. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What happened with UCLA and then transition to Merritt then Clemson?
So coming out of high school, both my parents were the first in their family to go to college, and they both went to Penn State. So, and both my parents were teachers, so education was important. My senior basketball season didn't go the way I wanted it to. My junior year, I don't know if you know this, DeMario. Remember, we go to the state championship game, and I hit the game-winning shot at the buzzer, but they called it no good. So it was like the most controversial shot in state history. So I'm thinking I'm the man. I work out that summer, and I'm playing with pros, and I'm thinking I'm pretty good. My senior year, I started 50% of the games. I'm arguing with my coach. I'm trying to argue with the number 1 coach in the country. Like, it just didn't make sense.
Didn't make sense. Yeah.
So I went back and
What,
played
what, what you think it was back then, Coach? You just wasn't ready. Like, what do you think mentally, or what do you think it was back then? You wasn't ready to listen. It was hard.
not coachable, hard headed. You got the number one coach in the country, and I want to argue with him. Like, what do you know? Love you,
Yeah.
Payton. So it's like, but I needed that though, because it prepared me later on. So I ended up playing baseball. First pitch, first senior season, boom, home run. Next game, boom, home run. So I'm prep of the week. And baseball was my really, I mean, I played varsity winter league as a freshman, first one in No Doubt history. So that was really my sport. So then they got this AU team together with J Kidd, JR Ryder, and myself. And now I'm playing with stars. Basketball's fun, right? We winning everything. So they were going to draft me, talking about drafting the Tigers in the 12th round. And I was like, I'm going to go to UCLA. That's the best, the biggest school I can go to. Now, I'm naive thinking, who am I to think I can walk on to UCLA? But I don't know anything about UCLA. I know nothing.
Yeah.
So I went down and I got cut. They had 3-on-3 tryouts, October 15th, 1989. The Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation album had just come out. I'm listening to my Sony Walkman.
Okay.
And I get
Walkman
cut.
era. The Walkman era.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I get cut. And from that moment on, I mean, my work ethic just changed. I started working out 6 to 8 hours every day, playing in strength shoes, playing in a weight vest, playing with both. Started lifting weights with my legs. I've never done that before. And then the next year, I made the team. And we would study a lot in the coaches' offices. And, from a town, you learn how to look around. What's what? Let me get the lay of the land. And I found this cell phone. So my roommates at the time were all Americans, Ed O'Bannon and Sean Tarver.
Okay.
And everybody was, oh yeah, I'm gonna take that phone. I'm gonna take that phone. Well, I'm from a town. I'm gonna take that phone. So come springtime, I was like, who wants that phone? It's finals week. Nah, I ain't touching that phone. All right, I'm gonna take that brick phone. So I took a bag, big brick phone. I come back to the Bay, and I'm the man. Lou Richie got a cell phone? What? I'm at Mosswood with Hook and all the OGs. And you want here? Go ahead, man. Take the phone. Just bring it back when you're done.
Yeah.
And sure enough, Hook brought it back. He's like, man, the phone ain't working, man. And all I heard was dee doo dee doo. I was like, oh shit.
That's crazy, Lou. You been hanging around Mosswood because that's where you first seen me at, man. I just remembered that. I just thought about that when you said that.
Yep. Yeah. So I ended up getting a phone call from my teammates. They're like, Lou, man, people are down here asking questions about you and cell phone, man. So I ended up getting real paranoid and real scared. And I told my mom. And I remember that's the first time I've ever been depressed. Like I couldn't get off my dad's couch for a week. It's not when you get your ass whooped, you're worried about it. It's that whole time up to getting your ass whooped that you really worry about it. So my mom and me, we drove to Bakersfield and we put the cell phone in a box and we mailed it back to school. So I went back to school thinking everything was hunky-dory. And on my birthday, 1991, September 29th, we had our first team meeting. And I was always late for stuff. This time I was on time.
This at Clemson, right?
Nah, this at UCLA.
Oh, still UCLA. Got you. Okay.
So, Coach Godfrey comes into the team meeting. He's the assistant coach. That's whose cell phone I had taken.
Okay.
Lou, Coach Herrick wants to talk to you in the office. So I walk in. Lou Richie, how you doing, son? How was your summer? I says, great, Coach. I worked out with Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullen, Pooh Richardson. I'm ready to earn this scholarship and get on the court. Well, son, you're not going to get that opportunity, son. Some things have changed. And by the way, the authorities are outside. They want to talk to you, son.
Oh, we went there with it.
I had to, my town business, gift the gab. I got to think real quick. The officer's like, Lou, we want to talk to you about this cell phone. Some Oakland numbers on it, some numbers that people identified that this was your cell phone. How did you get this cell phone? I said, man, it was this youngster, in his mid-20s. I thought he was a college student, white, blonde hair with a New York Mets hat on in the parking lot after a game. Was like, Lou, what's up? You want to buy this cell phone for $50, $100? I was like, man, you can't pass on that.
Yeah.
They're like, what? Man, New York Mets hat, jeans, a nice little polo. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
You come down to the station with us. I go down to the station. I had to call my guy that I shot hoop with, John Caldwell, who was a lawyer, and I had to tell him to come down there. And I had to make up a story because I made a mistake.
Yeah, yeah. What you think you learned from that though, Lou? What you think you learned from that, Coach? Like later.
I've never stolen anything ever again in my life. Don't do anything. Don't lie. Don't put yourself in that position. You don't need to be the guy that's flaunting all this. So I went back to the apartment. I told my mom I was leaving UCLA. And she was like, "You're not leaving UCLA. You don't leave UCLA to come back to Merritt. Plus, you're going to be on the corner with all your buddies smoking and drinking." I was like, "No, I'm not, Mom." She's like, "Yes, you are." And I was like, she's like, "You hang out off 35th and all over the town all the time anyway." Yeah. So I got a U-Haul truck and moved back. The coach at Merritt, Coach Compton, who I come close with because I worked up out there every day, he got me in school. He got me on the team. Played the season, was all state. But that's how I ended up getting in trouble at UCLA, was over that big brick cell phone.
And at Merritt, I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? You learned your lesson and ended up at Clemson. How was it playing in the ACC and being at Clemson?
So I had met a gentleman the summer before, 1990 summer, and I had a job at the Oakland Athletic Club. It was like a 24-hour fitness, but it was all OGs, and they had a bar upstairs, and you had to have some money. So this is the first time I'm around a black middle class or affluent blacks, and they see the little homie, picking up towels, so they show me some love. And back they found out I play basketball, so they really showed me some love. So this guy named Sam Robinson, I met him down there. He took me under his wing. He saved my life. He was the first black man that I looked up to, that I thought I wanted to be like. Whatever he said, I've never had an argument with Uncle Sam. I mean, he was everything. I wanted to be him. And when I came back to Merritt and played, he said, "Make a highlight tape, Lou." So I got VCR tape, put them in, and I made a highlight tape. And he sent it off. And
Lou, can you just imagine that though? Kids today doing that, like, it's so easy now, man. it's so them easy now, Lou. It's so damn easy.
I had to find somebody that had a dubbing. I only knew one person.
That's crazy.
So and at that time, all the West Coast schools that were recruiting me were calling UCLA. UCLA was, they're telling them what happened. That's the truth, right? Yeah. Like this little nigga stole, right? Like, so it was cool. We're not fooling with you. Yeah. So my uncle sent it to the East Coast. And I was preparing on just going to Cal Berkeley. Like, my basketball career is, I'm not going to Hawaii Hilo. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get this degree because I know it means more. Because I never wanted to be an NBA star. I wanted to be a playground legend, which speaks to my mentality where I wasn't in the right place. Yeah. So I get a phone call from 3 schools: Clemson, Georgetown, and Nicholls State. So the Nicholls State guy had a southern accent, like something I'd never had.
That's down there by my college. That's down there in Louisiana. Yeah.
Bayou. I was like, I don't know if I can make it down there.
Yeah, they different.
Then Georgetown called me, and once again, I'm not knowing what I know now. Like, if Georgetown calls, you go to Georgetown for the education. Like, it's not.
That was John Thompson, right? Was that John Thompson that offered you?
It wasn't John Thompson. It was assistant.
Okay.
So, but they had another point guard named Joey Browner, same class as me. I don't know. And then Clemson called, and they had a senior point guard, which means you think maybe I'm guaranteed to start 1 year, right?
Yeah.
So, I remember being on the phone with the Clemson coach. I was like, "Excuse me, sir, where is Clemson at?" "It's in Clemson, South Carolina." Damn, my bad. I've never heard of Clemson. My bad. So, that's how they got at me. And I flew out to Clemson. And when I got out there, they found out that my transcript wasn't compliant. And they had just got off NCAA probation. So imagine this. I get off the plane, and, you know, I'm thinking we landed in the trees. Like I had never seen an airport like Greenville Spartanburg Airport.
Yeah.
And this big 6'8" dude with a silk short set, purple silk short set, is picking me up at the airport with this bass music on a Pontiac Grand Am. Like he ain't sitting on some Dayton's or something. It's just like I said, Pontiac, and he's bumping bass music. I was like, what am I getting myself into?
Yeah.
So I go to campus and like, Lou, you gotta get off campus. You're illegal recruit. Need you to check into a motel. Motel? What motel? Yeah, check into an $8 motel down the street, and you just.
And that was because of your transcripts.
Because my transcripts, I didn't have 2 more classes that I needed to.
Okay.
So that's how I got there. I had to enroll in Tri-County Technical Community College and took 3 classes. I got my moped shipped out there from UCLA. So now I got the white people trying to run me off the road. I'm on a little moped, and they got the 18-wheelers like, we're going to get your nigger ass.
That was different out there.
It was totally different. It was totally.
Did you felt the racial tensions down there while you was there during that time? Yeah, that was a whole different time and era for sure. Yeah.
I mean, even people will tell you how they feel. Like growing up in the town, I never had a white person say something racially towards me. I never felt that. You know, it might be the opposite way, but I never felt that. So you go down there, I mean, people will call, you know, my mom is a pink toe. What's a pink toe? That's a white person. Like, why you call my mom a pink toe? You know, I mean, there's that racial tension where people never heard of yellow bone, red bone. I mean, color is. I was the only light-skinned dude in my school, so color was a tension. I went down to Black College Weekend in Daytona. I got a '67 Malibu, and I drove down, and it broke down on the way back. So I had to wait a month. I got a new engine put in it, so I'd ride down to go get it just outside of Jacksonville, and we're coming back through Georgia. And I'm at the middle of the town, and there's like City Hall and a fish and bait shop. That's how small this town is. Like those are the 2 big businesses.
Yeah.
And my car broke down the stop sign, so I walk in, and it's like a meat market. So it has like a L-shaped glass. And there's a woman right in front of me, and there's a dude down away from me. And I said, excuse me, ma'am, can I use your phone? My car broke down. And she was like, you know, Ebenezer, can he use the phone? Sure, have his nigger ass walk down here. You know what? I'm going to holler at y'all later, okay? You know,
yeah.
Right there.
That's crazy.
So, and then I had another time where literally an 80-year-old man punched me right in my face after he kicked my puppy Rottweiler, and then I ended up having to stomp him and broke my hand. I got a pin put in it. I was flying to Oakland that day. My coach calls me. I told you to leave that drug stuff back there in Oakland. And long story short, my uncle, who had got me out there, he told me to file a police report. When I called him and told him what happened, I said, am I filing a police report? He said, file a police report. So when I ended up going back to South Carolina, this guy was an ex-magistrate. What is an ex-magistrate? I don't even know what that word means. He was ex-judge.
Got you. Okay.
He'd been a judge for 20 years and the chief of police for 30 years.
Wow.
So he knew everybody. Yeah. So because I had filed
a police report
on assault for him, because he had one filed on me for trespassing, they ended up throwing the court out of case. But that could have been me doing 2 years in South Carolina prison.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know you was down in school in Louisiana, and I was out in Iowa for a year. Did you have any racial tension down there?
We talked about it on our old pods, Coach Lou. It's crazy because I feel you on the point of how you said in the town, you know, we never really – I feel like out here in the Bay Area, they're not open about it. At least so when I talk about my time in the South, we fast forward 20 years from Lou being down there in the 80s, I feel like I always tell people I experienced more racism in Castro Valley, California than I ever did in Louisiana. And the main reason why I say in Louisiana, at least where I was at, I just felt like it's known. Like they got their area, we got our area. It's like it's set. It's like, you know, out here I feel like they kind of just hide it better in the inner Bay Area. That's my 2 cents on it. Yeah.
I mean, lawsuits. California's known for lawsuits, so people have to be quiet. Also, the South, you can have black pockets. You might not see a white person all day long.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the deep east, and now, you know, Oakland being gentrified, It's not like that. Castro Valley was no when I was growing up. You didn't go to Castro Valley.
That's what I heard, and that's what I heard. Yeah.
San Leandro, no. You didn't go to San Leandro. So when I come back as a teacher, and everyone's like, San Leandro's the O'Dowd rival, I'm like, you tripping. And then I see 50 black people walking in with San Leandro Pirate flags. I'm like, what the? That was nothing like that.
I went to San Leandro High.
See, with Dixon and them, I couldn't believe that. When Dixon and them came out, I was like, what? So San Leandro Castro Valley was Piedmont.
Got you.
How Piedmont is now. Leandro, it just wasn't as rich, which is why people haven't been able to make it into Piedmont.
Got you. That makes sense.
Some good history, some good Bay Area history right there.
Thank you, Coach. Who was the toughest player you guarded in college, Coach?
In college, Sam Cassell.
Sam. Did Sam win one? Was he on that Rockets team? He got an NBA championship, don't he?
Yeah, he got more than one. He was at Florida State with Charlie Ward and Bobby Sura. And I was just talking to him yesterday because he coaches for the Clippers. And my classmate, Jason Powell, is a trainer for the Clippers. So Sam always yappity yap. So the first time we played him, he had like 32. He missed like 2 shots the whole game. So the next time, they were like, Lou, we want you to guard him. So, he was like, what? Goggles? Go guard me? Man, call the NBA commissioner. I'm going to the league after tonight's game.
Oh.
Sam was a talker. He could back it up, though. Hell of a player.
Back it up. Okay.
Good player right there. And so as you finished up college from Clemson, what made you – did you know you were going to go straight into the teaching route?
No. So my senior year in college, after I was done playing, I went back to get my degree because I had made a promise to my Uncle Sam. He said, promise I would never lie to him, promise I'd get my degree, and promise I would come back to the town and help kids. So my senior year, my 5th year, I had a very irresponsible birthday. I got 3 women pregnant. So of those 3 women, I have 4 kids. I had the twins. Demarie knows Xavier. And then I had 2 other sons, Andre and Zachary.
I know Andre.
Andre too.
Yeah.
So I tried out in CBA. I had an overseas contract in Japan. I blew my hamstring out racing on High Street in Allendale. I used to race anybody, for $5, $10, light pole to light pole.
I went to Allendale Elementary. That's crazy.
It used to be me racing. And
went to Maxwell Park right over there.
Here you go. And I was racing with my cousin, my partner, Mo Law, and I tried to turn around backwards on him and hoorah'd him, and my hamstring snapped. And that was really the end of my career. So at that point, I came back out here, started up what's now Verizon Wireless. It was at that time called Pac Bell Mobile Services.
Oh, yeah.
1996. And then from there, became a store manager at Target. Closed down the Fremont one, which is now in the mall there. Before it was across the street. And then I moved to the San Leandro store. Then I moved back east to get closer to my kids as a Target manager. And then 2000, same buddy of mine who I'd known since I was 7, went to junior high school with me, and he had brought me in at Pac Bell Mobile Services. He brought me in at a company in Boston, and it was basically high-speed wireless internet. So your laptop, wireless, 2000. And we raised $32 million, and we spent it in 10 months. And the demand wasn't there yet. So the demand for wireless internet probably 2005, 2010 in that area.
Yep.
Okay.
So I came back to the Bay, had a little chunk of change, and I knew I wanted to work with kids because I thought about it the year before. And I started training and coaching. And then the athletic director at O'Dowd was like, there's a teaching position at St. Lawrence O'Toole. And I was like, where is that? I didn't grow up in the Catholic schools. I went to public school. I went to Sequoia, Bret Hart, and my mom made me go to O'Dowd. So I didn't know it was on High Street. Could not even tell you there was a church there. I didn't go to church growing up. So a teacher had walked out on their class. So I walk in end of October to this class that had driven their teacher out. I still keep in contact with all those kids. Kevin Green, who went
he was in that class. Sacred Heart.
He went to USC. He's a little brother of mine. Nick Brown, Devin Branch. and a lot of the young ladies, we all became. I mean, I keep in contact with everybody, but that class was special, and it got me on the way. So I got I got certified to teach. I got my credential. Then I went back and got my master's.
And that's when you knew you wanted to take the teaching role.
The best thing that ever happened to me was helping young people.
Go ahead, Zach.
Over a real simple, you raised $32 million. I mean, that's big. I work in tech now, so hearing that's something I'm definitely trying to dip into. How was that?
It was incredible. Being in a startup, being on the cusp of something that was new, feeling like I was intelligent, feeling like I was ahead of the game.
Yeah.
It didn't have to do with anything physical, and no one judged me because of how I looked. You know, they didn't know I played basketball. They didn't know any of that stuff. So they just knew I was great in customer service, and they knew I was good with computers. So it was incredible. You know, the money gets spent because you got to spend money to generate money. Yeah. And we couldn't build out the infrastructure fast enough. There wasn't the demand for it.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, we'd be in Boston sitting at a bar with a laptop, you know, drinking a beer, and you're surfing on the internet. And I got something that you don't, and you make $5-10 million a year. You know, like you might be this guy who owns your own company, but you can't do this. So it was empowering, and it really made me learn about my work ethic, just like I did in basketball. Anything you want to be great at, parent, podcasting, you got to work harder than anybody.
Most definitely. Coach, you already answered half of this question because you want to give back and work with kids. But what made you and when did you create Triple Threat Academy?
So when I came back I was just doing 2-a-days at O'Dowd. I was 230 pounds, fat, with glasses, and no one believed I could play. So O'Dowd was weak. You know, we didn't have a Division I player on the team. Tallest player was 6'4". So I just said, you know, let me get these guys to grind like me. So we would go at 11 o'clock, and we had another workout at 2 o'clock. And we on the field, we in the gym, we in the weight room. I'm going to bring my workouts to them. And started to slim down. I had one player named Johnny Bryant. He coached for the Utah Jazz.
You brought him to our class one day. You brought him to our class. He went to Utah, right?
He went to Utah. He just got announced as the next associate head coach for the Knicks.
I seen that for the Knicks. I seen that. Shout out to that brother, man. Shout out to that. That's big time right there.
So Johnny, he was a knucklehead. He was single parent, not listening, 1.6 GPA, didn't go to summer school so he could play with the soldiers. So his senior year, he ended up coming to live with me because his mom had moved out to Stockton. Okay. And by this time, I got known for being a trainer. I knew all the best kids, Leon Poe, Quentin, Allende, all you guys, Armando. Come get in the gym with me. I'll train you guys for free. So,
and this is what, early 2000s right here, Lou?
2001, 2002.
Got you.
And I started saying, hey, you guys, if you guys can give me $1 or $5 in this cup and donate it, come on in the gym. If you can't, no big deal. Because we stay in there 3, 4, 5 hours, right?
Yeah.
So Tony Facero, my business partner, he walked in one day, and he had met me through Coach Phelps. And unbeknownst to me, he had come to camp when I was in high school, and he was a kid, and he had an autographed baseball from me. So looked up to me, had seen me hit the game-winning state championship shot, and he had just graduated from Cal State East Bay. And I was like, Lou, you know, I've dabbled in some summer camps, but I see you up here doing your stuff on the weekends. Do you mind if I get in the other gym and train a kid? I said, nah, if you went to O'Dowd, you're my brother. It don't matter what you look like or we different, you know, you my brother. He said, okay, because this kid, I want to introduce you to him. I don't know how good he's going to be, but his parents want to pay me to train him. I walked up. I said, what's up? He said, how you doing, Coach Lou? I'm Dame. I said, okay, what's up, Dame? What's your last name? He said, Lillard. I was like, all right, little homie, it's nice to meet you. So Tone goes over there, and he's training Dame. I got Leon and everybody else. And I was like, Tone, man, it's so much funner if we could do it together because we could have conversation and have fun. Let's just do it in the same gym. And there, that's how it blew up. It went from one gym to both gyms to multiple sessions to going to San Francisco, Palo Alto. I mean, we was making $50 a day to making $2,000 a day. And from there, we incorporated. We sent out emails. We got different gyms, and $1 million business is history. Although
you still got it going.
We'll see. This COVID is a beast.
Yeah, it's knocking a lot out, man. It's knocking a lot out.
You can always create and always keep it pushing. So something big's coming if this don't, pan out.
I think in San Ramon, the reality is this: Oakland and other areas are different, right? In San Ramon, they're not taking no chances with their kids. You can't get 10 kids in a gym right now, and we got to be socially distant. So, it might be time to step away from it. But irregardless, the fact that you even know about it, we impacted lives in our community.
Of course, man. You guys was around. You guys were definitely around. Lou, how in your time you hit the ground running at Bishop O'Dowd? Hit the ground running, went in right away. You put out some amazing talent during your time there. Big Power 5 school. We talking about big D1s all the way down. You put out some amazing, incredible talent. What do you look for when you bring in players to your program? Because I want to know, what does it take to build a winner? I'm a coach now. That's another reason I created the pod, so I could try to pick at other coaches' brains. What does it take to build a winner, Lou? You clearly a winner. You built a pretty good program there. What does it take? And
you got to learn from your mistakes, and you got to learn from mistakes. Johnny Bryant, why he's so incredible, is every time I told Johnny a story, he didn't go out and do the same thing. I'm a little bit more hard-headed. I've been hard-headed. Talent clearly makes a coach good or great. Let's not fool ourselves. You got to have great players if you want to be a great coach. Sometimes you can help people achieve greatness, but more times than not, someone has that potential, just like I saw in you, DeMarie, as a student. He's smart. He's sharp. This young man can do whatever he wants to do. He grew early. He might not be that NFL athlete. I hope no one tries to convince him that he is, because he's going to help more people with his mind than he is with his body.
Most definitely.
So, you got to have values. I think you got to have good mentors. You got to learn from. Sometimes you learn from those that make mistakes more than you do from those that did all the things right. Coming to O'Dowd, you got to be pretty bad to mess up at O'Dowd. It's a good school. It recruits itself. Clearly, me growing up here in the town and having relationships and overachieving myself and making myself into a player, it's a lot easier for me to do that with someone else. I've done it. I speak about education. I'm a coach that you can kick it with and hang with, but I'm also going to hold you accountable. I tell the youngsters, when you turn 21, we'll kick it. Until then, you got to follow the rules.
Most definitely.
Get your education. Tell kids, they're undergraduate, they're masters. And then don't go for the fool's gold. Like the culture of the kid and the family, and you got to do it without giving up on people. See, that's the thing. You don't look at someone and say, oh, he's from there, you can't give him a chance. But you do got to know that if they come in with some baggage, they can, and we've had some kids like that. Some kids that, my mom worked with them in the 6th and 7th and 8th grade. She tutored them. They didn't really have the academic or the social ability to make it at O'Dowd, but I'm still going to fight for them. And when they're 25 and they say, Coach Lou, maybe I didn't graduate from O'Dowd, but those 3 years you gave me there, that saved my life. That's what I want to hear. And it's not about winning with all of them. We haven't won. We've had some.
Those are wins, though, Lou. Those are Coach Lou. Those are wins right there, man. Those are small wins. You touched on mentorship right there, and it just brought me back to you were the first black man I ever been around that told me First of all, I think you the first black man that really held me accountable for my actions, as a young man. 'Cause I was definitely a knucklehead. I lost my pops already, I think, by the time I ran into you. So I was definitely a knucklehead. But you was the first black man to ever just tell me, hey, DeMarie, when you meeting other men, when you shake their hand, you look them in their eye, you speak up, you got your shoulders up. You feel me? You taught me all those little things. Those little things I just remembered and carried on all the way that helped me foster and build a network with other coaches. That's how I know so many coaches and players, is because, I rub bowls with these people, but I remember the look of man in his eyes, talk to him directly, stuff. Those small things, Coach Lou, they matter, man. They matter for sure.
And Uncle Sam was the one that taught me that.
And I try to teach it to the kids I'm working with right now.
The trickle down effect.
Most definitely. Let's talk about AAU ball real quick, Coach. I want to know, did it affect high school ball as far as practice time or being able to have your players in the off season? What has AAU done to high school basketball?
So when I first started out, I was a Soldiers 1 coach.
Okay.
I was that dude, right? Like I had 10 mid-major to high-major players on my team. So high school was nothing compared to my AAU team, and everyone knew it.
Yeah.
But I didn't walk around puffing my chest out. I called all the high school coaches and said, hey, this is what we're practicing. Do you mind? And, you got one kid on my team. Yeah, you know what, Lou? Your kid, we can't even touch him. You know what I'm saying? Like, go practice. Go work out with Lou. But I asked permission. I built those relationships. It was never AAU versus high school. Okay. And I was one of the first coaches that practiced 3 times a week in AAU. Back then, AAU just showed up on the weekends.
And played.
I had players that were like, Lou, this is foreign. And I had like 4 coaches on my staff. And they're like, oh, you trying to be like the white boys at De La Salle. You trying to make everybody mechanical. And I was like, no, this is how colleges are. This is how NBA teams are. Why do you watch film? You scout teams. I said, we're trying to prepare these kids. Yeah. So AAU, we finished top 4 in the country back-to-back years. And when I coached, there was no Under Armour circuit, Reebok, Adidas, Nike. Everybody went to big time, 800 teams all under one roof. We lost to OJ Mayo back-to-back.
No Peace Jam? It wasn't no Peace Jam yet?
Nope.
Okay.
We lost to OJ Mayo back-to-back years because I wanted to say something to a kid. I wanted to do that Oakland trash talk and wake a kid up.
Yeah.
But since then, AAU has been money-driven. You either have a parent that's kid's not good enough, and they want to create a team to give them a good experience. Or you have a coach that wants to make some money and says, I'm going to build an AAU program and make this money. And then ultimately you have a superstar's parent who's given everything, but the dad wants to control the situation so his son can be a pro. So AAU is so watered down now. I mean, there's AAU from 3rd grade on up. That never existed. CYO was everything back then. CYO can barely exist now because kids want to play AAU because CYO was one. So AAU has definitely changed the dynamics. I think the AAU parent has fallen for the banana in the tailpipe, personally. If you just, it's like football. If you just stick with skill work and stay healthy, you work on your speed, your athleticism, and being a good teammate, you don't have to be out here balling all the time. But it's going to be interesting now with the spring. AAU and high school will compete at the same time. So how do I tell DeMaurier, if DeMaurier goes to Alameda High School, but you play on Team Lillard, Alameda High School can't touch shit compared to Team Lillard. So you can't tell him not to go to practice. You damn near got to say, you know what? You don't even need to play for Alameda. Play for Team Lillard. But if you go to Odell, I mean, you're going to get more recruitment at Odell than you are any program, except for Jalen Lewis, who is our star sophomore. Jalen Lewis, we've already had the conversation. If USA basketball calls, it's over.
Yeah. He was like 6'9" as a freshman, right? Yeah.
You don't need AAU. You don't need high school. You need that USA basketball.
That overseas.
You trying to do something up here to prepare to be a pro. But it's going to be a fool now,
Is he a local talent, Coach? Where the kid from, Jalen?
He's right down the street from Maxwell Park. He's right off of High Street. Right off of High Street. Okay. Allendale, you know where Allendale Park
the Park Center, the rec is, yeah.
That street. He lives up that hill on the other side of High Street, right there.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what there is. Okay. And it's funny, we've had a couple football coaches on, and we touched on it's similar we see in high school football with the 7-on-7s growing. And like you said, it's strictly skill. I don't think it ever gets to how AAU is today because you can't replicate tackle football. It just won't ever get there. But it is starting to
But it's definitely money driven, like you said. It's just a bunch of trainers starting teams, man.
Yeah. And the top quarterbacks, receivers, all those Power 5 guys are doing what he's saying, sometimes creating teams. And it's interesting when sports getting bigger, a lot of hands in the pot.
Everybody wants to be that dude and have the control. And when you're young, you want that power, control. And, you might have a chip on your shoulder because you didn't make it. And I mean, that's why I always say you put kids first. When DeMaurier is 35 and he sees me on the corner, is he trying to fire on me or is he trying to give me a hug? Everybody's got to deal with that kid when they come back. And that's people got to check themselves.
Never I like
kid,
that.
You grow up and you're like, man, he did me dirty. He was wrong. Or you know what? Maybe I was tripping. Maybe I wasn't ready. He was telling me the right thing. Or you know what? That coach showed me love right there.
Most definitely.
Have you ever thought about coaching at the next level?
I've been offered various college jobs. The closest I came to accepting was in 2014 when Conzo Martin took the job at Cal. And he called me and offered me the job as an assistant coach for about $250,000.
I think about that.
And what I said was, first off, I don't know you, nigga, like that.
Yeah, because he came from Tennessee, right?
Like that. Now, that being said, Conzo's one of the worst dudes I've met. Like, I would love to work with Conzo, but working for someone is a little bit different. And then I said, well, if I take the job, everyone's going to expect Ivan to come to Cal. And I've never told a kid where to go to school, and I'm not going to start doing it now. And then if I was recruiting Ivan, would Ivan feel pressure, to come because I was there? And once again, I didn't want that to happen either. Yeah. I didn't want people to say, oh, Lou got the job because Ivan went there. So to me, it was I had too much to lose in my reputation. And, now this is what's interesting. The person who got my job, who I recommended, he got fired. They brought in Joaquin Jones from Louisville. Joaquin, 4 years later, was a head coach at Cal making $1 million a year. So you talk about, not saying it was going to be me, but if I had taken that job and worked my way up, what if I had become the head coach at Cal basketball?
Yeah, because Martin left only after like 2 or 3 seasons, right? He left. He didn't stay there long.
I've been left after 2.
No, I said Martin. Martin wasn't there that long either. He was only there for like 2 or 3 seasons, right?
Conzo was there 3 years and got his 7-year, $21 million deal.
And that's it seems like that was his bad time. Because if you didn't have a top, Power 5 player, it wouldn't have been, that pressure around that situation. But
you know what? I'm passionate about the town. I'm passionate about Odell. I'm passionate about anybody that comes out of Oakland. So I would go to Cal, and I got my master's from there, but it's not the same way. Like if Cal asked me to come on a podcast, I don't know if I'd do it. DeMaurier hit me, no question. Like the town, I made that promise to Uncle Sam. I lived in the town. I've always lived here since I came back in 2001. I'm always going to live in the town unless my fiance and I decide to move somewhere else. But this is what drives me every day, the fact that I can go to the store down the street and see one of my students. I can go to the mall and see one of my ex-students. That's what fuels me, is that community, because I grew up an only child. So I yearned for that community, and now I got it.
Definitely feel you on that, Coach. Was Ivan the best player you coached before? Who's the best player you ever coached?
At Odell.
At Odell. Yeah, let's do at Odell.
Ivan.
Because we know as a trainer, you've seen a bunch of talent. Who's the best at Odell that you coached, though, Coach? At
Odell, Ivan Rabb, Ben Simmons. I trained him when he was 14, and he was pretty damn good. He couldn't shoot, but you knew work ethic wise, physically, I could see him becoming who he is now. There was another kid named Reeves Nelson that played for me, the Soldiers. It was a white kid out of Modesto, 360 windmilling at 14. 6'7", went to UCLA, but he got he left me and the Soldiers to go get a reality show, and it didn't work out, which is why someone just hit me today about Mikey Williams, and I was like, those things don't work out. It's a jinx, if anything. Yeah. But I'll say this. The best player at an age, Jalen Lewis right now.
Yeah, at 19, I remember as a freshman. Yeah, freshman.
Jalen.
Because Ivan was raw. Ivan was raw as a freshman.
He was cool. He didn't start.
Yeah, he was raw.
He blew up his sophomore year when he grew and he went to ABC. He went to LeBron James camp and he went one-on-one with Diamond. That really raised him. Jalen at 6'9", size 17 shoe.
God damn.
I haven't had to help him with school. Ivan, he needed a lot of help. Socialization, Jalen went to Bentley. So his father prepared him to go to O'Dowd. Ivan went to Montera. He fit in at O'Dowd, but you're a little bit out of place when you come from a public school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ivan was real skinny, 165 pounds. Jalen's 220 right now. So skill-wise, he could shoot it better than Ivan, more athletic, bigger, stronger. But it don't matter right now, right?
Yeah. It's just potential. Potential. That's all it is. It's potential.
Yeah. So, but he's Jalen's special though. I'll say that he's special.
Man, that's crazy that your answer was Ivan, because my first year ever playing organized basketball, 3D ballers, was with Ivan Rad, and Ivan was my backup. Ivan was cause ain't that crazy, Lou? Cause you see me when I was younger. I was the same. Like I had an early spurt, so Ivan was my backup. They only would bring Ivan in if, you feel me, they just need somebody to stand there and stand straight up. I'm gonna have Ivan on the show, so he just posted one of our old team pictures not too long ago. But I'm gonna get him on the show. We gotta talk about that. But he was my backup, man. That shit. And it's funny. It's funny as hell now to see my guy in the league and doing his thing. His mom is prospering, the little bro, everything, the whole family, man. I'm definitely proud and happy for Ivan.
Yeah, man. Incredible family. Incredible family. Mom's restaurant. We always try to hype it up. Best food in the town. His little brother, we got him to go to JUCO, and now he got a presidential region scholarship to Cal worth $30,000. He got an internship with my fiance's father and with my other buddy Will Nettles. I mean, he's going to do big things. He'll make more money than Ivan. And Ivan finally getting healthy, coming back now, getting bigger and stronger. But just I used to tell people, if he's the number one player in the country, he's an even better person. And that's why I got
definitely, Ivan a cool dude, man. Cool dude. How's Paris doing? Is he still playing?
He's doing good. He's down in Rancho Cucamonga right now, training and working out. Hopefully he gets an opportunity to go play, right with the COVID right now. I don't know what's going to happen. But number one moment in high school basketball was winning the state championship. Number two moment, Paris Austin getting his degree. You talk about a hard-headed kid, grew up in the hood, father did one thing, mom did another. And I remember telling him outside his house, if you don't want to live right here in this hood, you got a chance to live up there. You got to get your degree. And he hated O'Dowd his freshman year. He had a bi-level haircut with two colors.
Man, he used to rock that.
And he did not want to be there. But I remember I didn't want to be at O'Dowd either. But Paris, the growth that he's become, I mean, I don't know if you see that. I don't know if you see what's right behind me.
Yeah, that 10. That's the 10, yeah.
There's Paris, and here's his jersey. That's what I ask of the players. When they get their degree, I need that jersey. Yeah. So, Paris brought it over, gave me a big hug. He was the first COVID person to give me a hug. He took a hug from me, so I got a lot of love for Paris Austin.
What I just recently found this one out, Coach, because I remember him committing to Washington. What's the situation with Elijah Hardy? He's now at Portland State.
Elijah Hardy's going to Portland State.
Okay.
He's excited about a new start up there. For me, most important thing is, he gets his degree.
Most definitely.
He cleared to play right away, so if there's a season this year, he'll be considered a junior. I don't think there'll be a season, but we'll see what happens. But he's on his way to getting his degree.
Besides Jalen, any other players right now that you think got some good potential that's on the squad right now, Coach?
Marcellus Roberson.
He was Player of the Year, right? Player of the Year.
And incredible story. Guess where he lives at?
High Street.
Maxwell Park.
Maxwell. Okay.
So, Marcellus' father was murdered 3 years ago this October. Outside up in Sacramento, a guy gunned him down. So Marcellus got dropped off on our doorstep. I got a couple phone calls from some people. This kid's pretty good, yada, yada, yada. Man, look, the best thing you can do is never call me again about this kid. If you send him here because of me, then you trust me. Don't try to be that dude that needs to be involved. So I put him on JV. Why would I want a kid worrying about basketball when his father just got murdered and he saw it? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's traumatizing.
Luckily for me, when he found out his father had died, he punched a wall and broke his hand. So he comes to school with a cast. So I was like, look, when you get healthy, instead of being on varsity and being on the bench and adding to your frustration, I'm going to put you on JV where you can play. Now, if you had told me that this kid was going to be as good as he is now, I mean, I didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sophomore year, you know, I asked him to come off the bench because I had another kid that I felt wasn't as emotionally tough as him. And he was older. I was like, I need this junior to play defense, Marcellus. I need you to come off the bench. First game, we're down at San Joaquin Memorial, and he hits a game-winning jumper against Jalen Green. Like, damn, he got some big balls.
The one player.
So by the end of that season, Marcellus was good offensively, but like a lot of kids, he wasn't good defensively. So we lose to James Logan. Next day, open gym. I've never seen a switch turn. He was like, I'm that nigga right now. I'm the best player in this school right now. Next day, and he dominated. And then he had Monty Bowser, who was going to Cal, and they just played every day against each other. They wanted to play together. No, you guys going to play against each other. And Marcellus learned. He learns from other people's mistakes. Incredible work ethic. After games, after practice, he's at 24.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he ain't fooling with girls. He might be now, but he wasn't in. You know, he's not drinking. He's not smoking. And you know, he's bouncy off one. He ain't scared. He never saw a shot he didn't like. He started learning how to play defense so that he could get those steals, so he didn't have to pass anybody, just get breakaways.
Yeah. He looked real long. He looked kind of long and lanky, coach.
So, you know, we went 18 in a row. He led us in points, rebounding, and assists. He should be the player of the year. He's MVP.
Easy.
Team All-State. So, Marcellus, and he got the story, and, you know, he wants to go to Stanford. He's taking AP classes. Like, his coachability, his work ethic, like, he's a kid you root for. Like, he never talked back. He ain't never said something and looked sideways. Like, that's a kid you want 15 of them, you know?
Most definitely. All right, Coach, before we let you go, man, I got two more for you, Coach. First, can you give us your all-time personal favorite point guard list? Top five. I need your top five.
High school, college, pro.
What do we usually do? It's professional. Yeah, professional from any era.
Okay, well we gotta start with the town.
Then we're gonna do high school because I know you've been around some ballers for high school, so we'll do high school second. But let's do professional. Your personal top five, any era.
J Kidd, GP, Dame Lillard,
Town Love,
Allen Iverson.
Oh, Magic.
I'm probably forgetting somebody. I didn't want to say Magic because that's not fair. But, I mean, I'm trying to think of a little guys.
Okay. Isaiah Thomas, Zeke was nice.
I'll go with Magic. I'll fool with you with Magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
What about high school then? Because like you play with some incredible ones. What about high school?
J Kidd. Gotta go with J Kidd. Damn, I've seen some pretty good point guard. I'm gonna go with Paris Austin. I'm gonna go with Juwan Anderson from East Oakland, who played with. But just in terms of running a team.
Point guard, true point guard. He played on my younger team for AAU Express. Real point guard.
Yeah, I go with those three. On the AAU side, Kiwi. All right, Kiwi. Kiwi from the town.
Need one more, coach.
And then I'm gonna keep it town based. Another winner, Will Cherry.
Okay. Mac House, Mac House right there for you, Zay.
Graduate from. Here we go.
Okay.
Good list.
All right, Coach. Coach, before we let you go, man, I like to ask all our guests this question. And before you answer it, you gotta know the person that you say, if you know the person, you gotta give us the live. So who should we have next on the show? And if you know the person, we need the live.
Have you had Alonzo Carter on here?
Yeah,
last week.
It drops tomorrow.
You have John Beam on here.
Yes, sir. Multiple times, because Beam been on a few times.
Regular.
Yeah, he's a regular.
Okay. Are we talking football, basketball?
We can do it football or basketball. Like I said, you are third guest. Yeah, so you can go that way. You can go either one, and it can be player or coach.
Okay, I got two lives for you.
I almost got a request for one.
You said we got 2 lobs.
Two lobs.
All right, here we go.
Got Napoleon Kaufman.
Yeah. Okay. Back the football coach. He left though. Is he still there?
No, he's not.
Okay.
But he still can talk about things, right?
No, for sure.
Napoleon Kaufman and Coach Mo from the Mac House. Those are the 2 lobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach Mo. Okay, most definitely. I was gonna say I want you to give me Kev if you can. I know his sister. I was tight with Gina. I don't know Kev too much, but Kevin, so I know his story is pretty good.
I'll give you his number. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. Hey man, we definitely appreciate you, Coach Lou. Man, you know you're a legend in my eyes. We think you're a legend in the area. Definitely want to give you your roses while you're still here, man. And I just thank you so much for being on the show. Stay safe, please.
Hey, I appreciate it. Stay healthy and safe. Love you, DeMaurier.
Yes, love you too, Coach. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, Coach.
DeMaurier.
Have a good one. All
right. Still went for it. It's time to change the club.